One of the lines coming through on AM Live is that European traders may want to grab a crash helmet. It looks as if the equity meltdown is going global. Well, let's get to Mark Cudmore. He joins us now from the NLive team. Good to see you, Mark, this morning. I mean, look, the adjectives that are being thrown around are full and plentiful. We're talking about panic, ensuing, etc. The one thing that strikes me is that we've had Kuroda on the tape reassuring the market that now is not the time to adjust policy there. The question that we debate here is, and our guest host, and we put this to him, is that blue sky would be no other central banker needs to come to the tape between now and Friday. Is that a fair estimate? Are we in panic mode? Are we really in panic mode, Mark?
I don't think we are in panic mode, and actually that's one of the things that's slightly worrying me. I think you normally find a bottom in these situations. The ultimate capitulation comes when there is panic. But in fact, the stories we've kind of heard from many commentators over the last 24 hours is going, you know what, this is healthy, this is overdue, this is great, not to worry. And that may be true structurally, it may be true long term, but it does worry me, the lack of panic. The reason that I shifted so suddenly bearish a week ago was for the first time that I can remember since before the crisis, there was suddenly no bears out there. And what's worrying is we've now seen a 10% kind of pullback in many stock markets, and yet the bears still don't seem to be dominating kind of the chorus of voices out there. So I want to see a little bit more bears around the place before I can be comfortable that we might have seen the ultimate capitulation yet.
And so in terms of where we are then on the fundamentals versus what we're seeing in the markets at the moment, Mark, has there been a shift in market fundamentals? People try and pin the start of this onto the wages data back from the United States on Friday. But what about the fundamentals for markets?
Yeah, I think there's been a massive shift in market fundamentals that started happening in January, but it really accelerated last week. One part of that is obviously the massive move higher in US yields. So we've had 2-year US rates move higher by 90 basis points in less than 5 months. We haven't seen that scale of tightening in the US since the first half of 2008, and we know how that year ended. So this is a massive amount of tightening we've seen. That reduces liquidity. It also reduces the net present value of future discounted cash flows of stocks, so that makes them look slightly more expensive. At the same time, January was like breaking records across many equity markets for new inflows and for record levels of bullishness, which again is a reduction of liquidity because it means there's less cash left in the sidelines to buy in. And then finally, what we've seen in the last kind of 48 hours as an extra blow to liquidity that these things have happened over the last week is the fact that volatility has exploded. And that's going to feed into value at risk levels to VAR measures across banks and hedge funds. And that means for the rest of this year, they're going to be more limited in their ability to take leverage. So that means we've had a reduction of liquidity that's now going to have consequences for the many months ahead. So in many different ways, liquidity has really been hurt in the short term. Yes, growth is good. Yes, earnings are still good, and they will matter again. But we'll need to see yields come lower first, and we'll also need to see a little bit more deleveraging from investors.